He cried in my arms every night, and I held him like I wasn't the reason for his pain. His hands searched for comfort in my body, while my heart was somewhere else. I told myself it was just loneliness, just one mistake. But his best friend didn't kiss me like a mistake. He kissed me like he already owned the pieces my husband was still trying to fix. I remember the first time he broke down in my arms. It was late, almost 3 a.m., the kind of quiet only heartbreak understands. He sat at the edge of the bed, his face buried in his hands, his chest heaving from tears he wasn't ashamed to let me see. I crawled across the sheets, wrapped my arms around him from behind, and rested my chin on his shoulder. He leaned into me like I was all he had left. He kept whispering, "I don't know what I'd do without you." And I whispered back, "You'll never have to find out." But I was lying. I was already breaking, already slipping, already doing things I never thought I was capable of. It started weeks earlier. Subtle, a glance too long, a laugh that lingered. The kind of silence between two people that feels like something's about to happen, even when no one speaks. That was how it began with his best friend Eden.God. Even his name felt dangerous in my mouth. He wasn't like the man I was with. He didn't cry. He didn't beg. He didn't open himself up like a wound. Aiden watched the world like he was one step ahead of it, controlled, cold. But when he looked at me, it felt like fire meeting gasoline. The first time he touched me, it wasn't even skin. It was his breath on my neck as he reached past me for a bottle of wine at dinner. His lips close enough to graze, his fingers brushing mine just enough to make my chest tighten. We locked eyes for a second too long, and I knew, he knew, and worst of all, my boyfriend was sitting right across the table telling a story about how we met. I hated myself for the way my stomach flipped, but I didn't stop it. I kept finding excuses to be around Eden, late errands, group hangouts, dropping off things my boyfriend forgot at his place. Every time the line blurred a little. One night, it was raining. I was soaked by the time I reached his apartment, just delivering a hoodie my boyfriend left there. That's all. That's what I told myself. But when Eden opened the door, saw the way my shirt clung to my body, the way I was shivering, he didn't say anything. He just stepped aside, and I stepped in. The silence between us was deafening. I stood there dripping on his floor, heart pounding, trying to remember why I came. He handed me a towel. Our fingers touched again. This time, it lingered. He didn't kiss me that night, but he wanted to, and I wanted him to. I went home soaked and shaking, not from the rain, but from the war inside me. My boyfriend was asleep on the couch, wrapped in the same hoodie I had just given. Back to Eden. I watched him breathe, soft, safe, trusting. He woke up, smiled, and pulled me into his arms like I was his piece, and all I could think was, I don't deserve this because I didn't the next time it happened. There was no rain, no excuse, just want. Pure, wrong, impossible want. We were alone again at a barbecue, of all places. People just a few steps away, music in the background. And yet, Eden cornered me near the garage, pressed one hand against the wall beside my head and whispered, "Tell me to stop." But I didn't, because I didn't want him to. His lips brushed mine, soft, testing, like he was waiting for me to pull away. I didn't. I leaned in. That kiss burned through everything: guilt, love, loyalty. It melted the woman I thought I was, and I let it. I moaned into his mouth like it was the only truth I had left. He pulled away first, breathing hard, jaw clenched. "This is wrong." I nodded but I still leaned in again. He didn't stop me. I don't remember how long we stayed there. Minutes, hours. Time warped around our sin when I finally returned to my boyfriend. I lied. Said I wasn't feeling well. That I needed to leave early. He held me all night, kissed my forehead, cried in his sleep, and I lay there, tasting another man on my lips. He started sleeping earlier these days. Not because he was tired, but because he couldn't look me in the eye anymore. Maybe he sensed something, or maybe he was just losing me without knowing why. I'd wait until I heard his soft, steady breathing, then I'd turn my phone back on. Every night, a message from Zane lit up my screen. "Can't stop thinking about you. Was he holding you tonight? Or did you sleep apart again? Do you miss how I touch your waist when I whisper your name?" And every time my hands would tremble, not from guilt, but from wanting more. It didn't feel like cheating. It felt like rescue. Like someone finally seeing me after years of being invisible. I started getting careless. Lip gloss instead of lipstick, so it wouldn't stain collars. Showering at 5 p.m., claiming I went for a run. Wearing lace underneath sweatpants. Zane noticed everything. He always had. "You wear your guilt like perfume, baby. Sweet, but heavy." I laughed too easily when I was with him. My voice became softer, my smile more dangerous. He met me in the most reckless places, the backseat of his car just 5 streets away from my house. A hotel room that still had our scent from last week. My best friend's kitchen when he was out getting wine. Sometimes we didn't even kiss. We just sat there, staring, breathing, daring each other to fall harder. "I hate that I love you. Like this," I whispered once, my voice cracking. He looked at me with eyes so full of fire it hurt. "You love me in all the ways he forgot to." I didn't know how to reply, so I kissed him like it was the last time. It never was, and the worst part? When I came home, I still crawled into my boyfriend's arms. He wrapped around me like nothing had changed. Like I hadn't betrayed every word I once whispered into his chest, but I was slipping further and deeper. Zane wasn't just a mistake anymore. He was the only place I felt alive. One night, we stood under the rain outside his apartment. He held my face like I was the only thing that existed. His lips didn't touch mine, they hovered, breathing in my pain. "Tell me one thing," he said. "If he begged you to stay, would you leave me?" I froze. Not because I didn't have an answer, but because the answer wasn't supposed to be this clear. I wouldn't leave Zane, not for anything, but I didn't say that. Instead, I lied to both of us. I don't know. And he kissed me with everything I was afraid to admit. Meanwhile, at home, my boyfriend had started noticing pieces of me missing. A laugh too late, a phone too silent, the smell of someone else's skin still clinging to my wrists. He asked gentle questions. "Are you okay? Do you still love me the same? Is there someone else?" And I lied with a smile. No, just tired, just life, just stress. But my body couldn't lie forever. One night, Zane left a mark too dark to hide, a bruise from passion, a kiss too hard. And my boyfriend saw it, right there on my neck. He touched it gently. His eyes didn't blink. "You must have hit something while sleeping," I nodded, frozen. And he walked away. That night, I heard him crying in the shower. Not loud, not broken, just soft, tired sobs. Like he already knew the truth and was mourning me before I left. Curled up on the bed, staring at the ceiling, hating myself, but also aching to see Zane again. What kind of woman does that make me? One who lies with kisses and cries and stolen arms, but doesn't stop because part of me didn't want to stop. He walked in while I was kissing him. That's when everything shattered down. It was late. I had come to Zane's place to talk. Just talk, he said. He needed closure. I wore a soft dress, not too revealing, just enough that I might have felt pretty. Again, the rain had stopped, but my hair was still damp and wild. I'd left my jacket clutched in my hand. I was nervous, but not afraid. We sat close, words drifting between us like smoke. He stared at my face, like daring me to admit he had changed me. My breath trembled when he took my hand. I should have pulled away, but my fingers leaned inside. I stared at him, silent. I realized then how far I'd fallen. I whispered, "I don't know who I am anymore." He kissed me. Not a gentle brush, no. A kiss deep enough to taste my regrets. The door clicked. My body pulled away before my brain even knew that my boyfriend stood there. Shirt untucked, eyes wide. He didn't cry. He didn't yell. He just stared. His chest heaved. The tears, I think, came later. He said nothing. I couldn't speak. Zane slipped out silently. I couldn't tell if he was leaving out of guilt, fear, or respect, or all of it. I turned to him. He held up the hoodie I dropped, the hoodie I gave Aiden weeks ago. The same one he had wrapped me in safe, soft me. His voice was quiet. "That's mine." I shook. Tears rolled hot and sudden. "I'm sorry," I whispered, though I couldn't decide who to him. Zane? Myself? He shook his head. He dropped the hug I thought he would offer. He dropped his hands. He walked away. I followed him to our car. He slammed the door. Rain began again, fat drops. He drove past city lights and silenced out at home. I found him curled on the couch, watching old movies, a single glass of wine untouched. My phone lit up. "I'm sorry." I sent it to Zane. He didn't look up when I entered, just closed his eyes and whispered, "Show me." I handed him my phone. Messages, nights and days, promises I broke. He read every line. He let me explain. But there was nothing left in me to explain. I felt hollow. He said one thing before he walked away. "You destroyed us," in those words. I collapsed onto our bed, pillows soaked, my tears steady like rain. The next morning, he was gone. Just the empty room, my voice echoing. I didn't mean to lose you completely. I never saw that hoodie again. I didn't try to call him either. I couldn't lie again. Zane reached out. Soft. He said he wished I had chosen him after all this. I cried. I didn't know what I wished. I wished I felt nothing. I wished I already had chosen him. He didn't come home for 2 nights, not a text, not a call. Just silence. The kind of silence that screams louder than any fight. I sat in our living room, still haunted, replaying every moment of what happened. The kiss with a yawn, the grip of his hands on my waist, the moan I let slip when I shouldn't have. That kiss wasn't innocent. It was full of history and pain, and lust I pretended had died long ago, but it hadn't. When Rayhan finally walked in, the front door creaked, like it knew what was about to happen. His eyes were swollen, red, like he hadn't slept in days. He looked at me, not like the man who loved me, but like a stranger staring through me. "Where were you?" My voice cracked. It sounded pathetic, needy, like I didn't deserve to ask that question. Maybe I didn't. Did you ever love me? He said, not answering me, not moving from the doorway. I swallowed hard. Rehan, please. He shook his head, tears welling. Do you think I didn't notice? The way your smile faded whenever I touched you. The way you kept looking at your phone when you thought I wasn't watching. I begged you to talk to me. I cried in your arms every night, hoping you'd come back to me. Don't say that. I whispered, already crying. I gave you everything, he said, voice trembling. I gave up jobs for you, moved cities, said goodbye to my friends, my mother, all because you asked. And you gave yourself to him. He didn't yell. He didn't even raise his voice. That's what broke me, Dot, because that kind of calm only comes from heartbreak so deep. The body's too tired to scream. I tried to move closer, to hold his hand, but he stepped back. Don't, he said sharply. Don't touch me like you love me. My lips trembled. It didn't mean anything. His laugh was dry, painful. Then why did it feel like everything to me? He walked past me, down the hallway, the sound of his suitcase. Wheels on the wooden floor slicing through the silence. I followed him, desperate. Rehan, I made a mistake. No. He turned. You made a choice. I collapsed onto the edge of our bed as he packed. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. All I could do was watch the man I once thought I'd marry zip his life into a bag and walk away. He paused at the door. Tell me the truth, he said. Do you love him? I looked up at him, drenched in guilt, voice shaking. I don't know. He closed his eyes like the words stabbed him. And maybe they did. I was never enough for you, he whispered. But he will never love you the way I did. And then he left. I sat there for hours, maybe days. Everything blurred together. Coffee gone cold on the table. The sound of my own sobs echoing through the apartment. The scent of his cologne still lingered in the hallway, mocking me. I texted him 100 times. I called, left voicemails. I begged, but the only reply I got was silence and a hand. He didn't even check in, not a single message, not a single question. He kissed me like I was fire, burned me like I was his. But once Rahim was gone, he disappeared like none of it ever happened. And maybe that's what I deserved, Dot. I spent years watching Rehan break himself just to keep us together. I watched him wither, under the weight of my silence, my lies, my distance. I knew he loved me more than I deserved, and still, I let myself crave someone else's touch. I tried to convince myself it was just a mistake, but Rehan was right, Dot. It wasn't a mistake, Dot. It was a choice. And now, he's gone. People always think cheating is about lust, about passion, about something hot and fast and out of control. But it's not. Sometimes cheating is quiet, Dot. It starts in the spaces between words left unsaid. In the way your heart skips when someone else sees you, really sees you. When your partner's eyes have grown tired, Dot, it builds in the way your mind starts to wander when the house is too quiet. When your body aches, not for sex, but for attention, for warmth, for someone to say, I miss you. And when it happens, when you finally cross that line, the world doesn't explode. No one screams. No one slaps you, they just leave. And that silence is louder than anything. I lay on our bed, my bed now, clutching Rahan's pillow like it was the only thing left of him. And maybe it was.